Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. A little bit later than usual. I was traveling today, so I'm set up at the beautiful Delta in Winnipeg, and Huss, of course, at his place in Winnipeg, and we've got some Thursday night action for you that we're going to get to as well. Lock Shop, as always, brought to you by our wonderful partners at Coolbet. Hopefully, we can be as good tonight in the NFL as we were last night in the NHL, buddy. A little 4-for-4 night, no big deal.
That was the thing of beauty. And, we don't often bang out the hockey picks on Wednesdays just because that's kind of a slower night. But obviously with the CFL question marks about the picks, kind of hit that quickly and then got into it. And yes, very nicely done. Running the table, I got that parlay plus 218, which was nice. Set me up for maybe a little extra action for Thursday evening. And tell you what, let's keep this thing going. I know our focus is, of course, on the Thursday nighters tonight, but we got a big slate of games in the NHL, Dusty.
Yeah, huge slate of games in the NHL. It's always, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Saturdays usually pretty busy in the National Hockey League. And obviously, once football slows down, we'll be hammering hockey in the second half of the season, which is really nice to do. Oh, can you hear the sirens? Sirens outside the Delta in downtown Winnipeg. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Welcome to the Peg, my man. It becomes ambient noise to those of us that live around here. But you'll see. Big night, big mayoral election last night in Winnipeg.
I saw it was a disaster. Coverage was a disaster.
It was a disaster for some. But we did enough dunking on a certain media outlet during WST. We can save that on the Lock Shop. But yeah, you know what? I don't know how much you've looked at the card for the NHL tonight. Big game for the Winnipeg Jets. They're trying to build off of their best performance of the season against the St. Louis Blues. They're opening up a 3-game road trip tonight in LA. Jets are plus 122 underdogs against the Kings. Kings just had a real impressive win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. But like a lot of teams, there's been some good games. There have been some not so good games. The Jets have had a real tough schedule, so I think they're probably fortunate or probably pleased at least to be 3-3 right now. But as we talked about with Dennis Bernstein yesterday on WST, the Kings have had some real goaltending issues so far. Cal Peterson has just not been very good. Jonathan Quick got the win last week. Be interesting to see who's in there. But Jets at plus 122. 2 other games. And again, that's probably more a heart pick. I'm not necessarily maybe putting that one on the card, but just in case you're thinking about that. They play the way they did last game against Monday. They'll have a very good chance to win and cash that plus 122. But 2 other teams in the Central that I will be betting tonight that I do like. The Minnesota Wild, after that rough start, seemingly becoming more and more of that team that we expected this year. They're in Ottawa to take on the Senators. Minnesota's a slight road favorite at minus 125. And Ottawa dealing with the loss of Josh Norris. And for all the great ads they put in with Giroux and DeBrincat, Norris, such a key player right now. Should give some great opportunity, though, for Shane Pinto to have.
He's been awesome.
Certainly.
Yeah,
exactly. Some big numbers. He looked great in the preseason when he played against the Winnipeg Jets, but I'm going to go with the Wild at minus 125. And I do like the Dallas Stars. The Stars had that great start. They had a bit of a speed bump earlier this week with a couple of losses in back-to-back games. They're back at home tonight. I think they get back in the win column at minus 119. So I'm jumping on the Wild and Dallas Stars tonight. And obviously you can parlay them as well together. Those 2 gamers have been working for me. We got a 2-gamer last night, so we'll see on that. And then maybe add a sprinkle on the Jets as well to make it a 3 at about plus 635 if you want to go that route.
Just a couple of things quickly for me. Oilers in regulation tonight against Chicago, minus 132. Oilers played a really good game at both ends of the ice. Skinner was excellent against the Blues, he was, but Binnington had to be brilliant as well. I thought the Oilers played a pretty good game. They've got that McLeod line going now. So they're running 3 lines. McDavid maybe a little bit banged up. I thought about maybe going Leon Draisaitl for maybe 2 points in this game tonight. I know Chicago's had a little bit better start than we thought they were going to. But
They
let's
won
be
4 in a
honest,
row.
it's the Chicago Blackhawks. Now they're going to win 5 in a row? Come on. It's not going to happen tonight. Oilers in regulation, minus 132. I know it's a back-to-back, but I do like him in the spot. Jack Campbell will get the start tonight. Second game of a road trip there, and building off a win last night. Quickly, if you go to CoolBet, click on exclusives. They've got an NFL one there that we can hit on quickly as well. But someone roars, Canada scores. This exclusive is paying plus 115. It's the Habs, Sens, Oilers, Canucks, Leafs, and Jets to combine for 20 goals. So plus 115. So you go bet it, and then you just cheer for goals all night for Canadian teams. That's not a bad idea.
I don't mind that. So Habs, Sens, Oilers, Canucks, Leafs, and Jets for 20+ goals. Plus 115 there. The other one, and this is a great one. Again, we'll kind of get into this when we talk more about the game. But
well, we're flipping over to it right now anyway, so go ahead. Lay that one out too. I like it.
Get that one out. Here we are. Not a running back. I love Jake's names for these bets. They're amazing. Lamar Jackson to have over 59.5 rushing yards to score a TD and Ravens to win. And with the movement in the line, that is interesting, but that's a big reason why that is plus 575. So if you're backing the Ravens tonight to win the game and you like a big game from Lamar, that is a juicy plus 575 exclusive over at CoolBet.
I'm 100% on that. I'm going to be on that one tonight for sure. And I think the total for his rush yards is 61.5. So on that parlay, it's down to 59.5. So I think you have to like that on that CoolBet exclusive as well. Let's get into our Thursday nighter here, Huss. And we are going head-to-head on both the spread and the total tonight. You got our records over on the left side. Thursday nights, total-wise, have been pretty good to us. I've had some good luck on Thursday nights against the spread so far. When I saw your text, I don't know if I just landed in Winnipeg or I was just about to take off, and I saw Huss going with the Bucs, a team that I have written off for maybe the rest of the season, 100% this week. After what I said earlier in the week, there's zero chance I could bet the Bucs. Interesting, from when you sent me your pick to when I made my pick this afternoon, the line had moved. I've got the Ravens right now at +2. I'll probably tell you, when I make my own bet on this, I'll probably just get that line to 3 and take it at Baltimore +3. But yeah, I'm on Baltimore +2, and you're going to go Tampa here -1.5.
Well, and there's been some big line movement. I mean, didn't the Ravens open as 1.5-point favorites?
They did.
I mean, people were so freaked out about the performance of the Buccaneers, and rightly so, against the Carolina Panthers last week. That was atrocious. And when you add in the fact that they had just lost on the road as like a double-digit favorite against the Pittsburgh Steelers or close to it, made it that much more surprising. Now, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, we all thought that, they had the 2 bad losses. They'll come back. They got the Commanders. They should be fine. And it didn't happen for them. There's no guarantees. And certainly Tampa is going up against a much better team in the Baltimore Ravens. I had a very tough time making this pick today because Baltimore at times has looked great this year, but they've also defensively been very un-Raven-like, shall we say. I mean, they've blown some big leads.
Yeah,
they were up by 17 against the Bills. The Dolphins come back, and what was it, week 2 or week 3, still stands out as one of the most stunning results of the entire year. And they didn't cover last week, but they got it done at crunch time against the Cleveland Browns. But I mean, again, this is about the Buccaneers, and I know they looked absolutely terrible on Sunday, and I know this is a short week, but I just have a hard time imagining Tom Brady and this team with the Super Bowl pedigree to be embarrassed again, and this time on national TV. And, they're tied for first place right now in their division, but that's only because the division stinks.
Yeah, they've lost 4 of their last 5.
They're 3-4 right now on the season, and I don't know. I mean, in some ways, I guess this is the emotional hedge because I will be more than happy to see the Buccaneers lose again and Brady take the L. But when it comes to the pocketbook and where I'm going tonight, I'm looking for a get-right game from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, again, I sort of regret not jumping on this earlier, but at the same time, I'm thinking, the Ravens are the favorite. It took me a long time to figure out what side I wanted to come on for today's show. And obviously I waited a little too long because it seems like there's a lot of other people that must be thinking the same thing for the line to move the way that it is. That being said, I'm going to back Brady and the Bucs to win tonight. I mean, it probably a safer bet if you were betting this yourself and you like Tampa instead of screwing around with the 2 or the 1.5. It's minus 125 on the money line.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, if you do like Baltimore, you waited. Good job, because now, as opposed to having to lay 1.5 at minus 109, you're getting them to win outright at plus 115. So give me Tampa. And I guess part of that, if they're going to do it, they're going to need to score some points. I really do think Lamar, I like your Lamar play from our fantasy show earlier this week. I think he will be impactful. And there's going to be, I mean, Tom Brady's going to need to be way, way better and connect with some of his big guns early and often if they're going to be in this game with the Baltimore Ravens. So I think, to me, I'm leaning the over right now, 46 on that game, because I do think that Baltimore will definitely be putting up in the 20s. If Tampa's going to win this game, and I'm going to get the right side, they're going to need to score some touchdowns. We'll get to the TDs in a minute. But Tampa minus 1.5 and the over 46 for tonight's game.
Yeah, I'm going to roll on Baltimore here. I mean, a couple of things, and we'll get to that Lamar pick. I do think Lamar has a game here tonight, and maybe Tampa figures it out, but this is a team that put up 3 points against the Carolina Bloody Panthers. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I think I know it's Tom Brady, and I know it's the Tampa Bay Bucs, and they won a Super Bowl in the last couple of years, but there's nothing offensively that gives me any confidence in this team to score points. I mean, they cannot run the ball. They just can't do it. They have Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White. They can't run the ball. Their offensive line has been absolutely atrocious running the ball so far this year. Brady looks off, and understandably so. I mean, he's going through a lot of shit right now. So I think Lamar has a game. I think Lamar comes out and steals the spotlight in Thursday Night Football tonight. I am going to take the under. And this is, I mean, maybe I get bit on this one, but let's just look at these teams so far. The Ravens have finished under 4 games in a row, with the totals being anywhere from 46 up to 50. And the Bucs have finished under in every single game this year except for the one against Kansas City, and that was probably more because Kansas City put up 41. And well, I mean, the Bucs had 31 too. That was just a high-scoring game.
Outside of that, all garbage time. I mean, they were able to just call the dogs off later on in the game, and that game looked on the scoreboard way closer than it really was.
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at the totals that have been 39, 46 under, 46.5 under, 42.5 under, 43.5 under, 49.5 under. I just don't know if this number's been adjusted for the way. Like, I think this is still like beginning of the season Bucs and Ravens number. So I'm gonna take the under 46.5. Hate to do it, but it's been successful. I mean, unders on Thursday night have done pretty well so far this year. So I'm going to take the under 46, and I hope it's close. I hope it's a 44-point game so we get some excitement, but I just hope it doesn't go over 46. So I'm going to take the under 46 here, buddy.
I'll tell you what, you just rolled it out. These teams are so due for an over tonight. Let's get it. I'm going to see some points. And maybe people that have invested in Bucs and Ravens skill position players in fantasy football might get a little love this weekend, because even with Lamar Jackson, I mean, Lamar had a great start to the season. His numbers have been very pedestrian the last
very pedestrian
weeks.
lately. Yeah.
9 last week. He's not thrown very much. And that's why I kind of like where you're going with one of your props with Lamar on the ground tonight.
Well, and it's wild to me that the number is 61.5, because, earlier in the year, over 100 a couple of times. Since then, we say he struggled. He's still been over 60. He's been over 70 twice, covers. And then the other two games, he was like 59 and 58. So even in games that we describe as a little bit lackluster, he still almost covered the 61.5. And he's going up against a Bucs defense that is surrendering like almost 6 yards per run this year to quarterbacks. They can't stop the run. And what they do best right now, considering their current health situation, is put pressure on the quarterback. Well, that's great news for Lamar over 61.5, because he's just going to take off. They're going to be chasing him the whole game. So pretty confident in Lamar over 61.5 here. Almost went with it as my lock shop play of the day. And then Gus Edwards, TD, back last week, had 16 touches, couple of touchdowns as well. Even when Dobbins was healthy in rare moments over the last few years, Gus has always been that touchdown goal line back for this team. So, the touchdowns are probably going to come from Lamar or Gus. I think Lamar's going to have a huge game, but I still think Gus gets into the end zone at plus 135.
Yeah, and when I did my picks, we didn't have the rushing and receiving props yet, so I hit a couple touchdowns. One of the guy that is the most due right now, and anyone that's had him on their fantasy team knows who I'm talking about. It's Chris Godwin. Godwin, his last 5 games, has seen a ton of targets. He had 13 targets in the last game. He had 12 targets the game before, but still hasn't ended up in the end zone. So I think that changes tonight. And as I said, I'm sort of on the Bucs. They're going to need to score some points. Give me a Godwin touchdown at plus 145. Mike Evans is at plus 112. You might like that one too if you're on Brady and on the Bucs. But Chris Godwin's too good to be kept out of the end zone and this quiet as he has so far this season. And then I was thinking, and I probably would have jumped on that rushing yard prop, but how about Lamar getting into the end zone? This is going to be a game. I think that it does end up being tight. He is a player. I mean, I know they'll give Gus Edwards, maybe an opportunity to get in on the goal line. But Lamar is so dangerous, really anywhere in the red zone to potentially go in and do it himself. So I like the value, to be honest, with Lamar Jackson to score a touchdown
plus
himself.
160 is a pretty nice number, buddy. That should be like plus 115.
Anyways, we'll take it right now. And maybe this is a bit of a reaction to the fact that, he hasn't had big games the last few weeks, much like the fact that we're getting Kyle Connor on a goal prop tonight at plus 150 after being stalled. I'm telling you right now, Dusty, I should have gone and asked the guys at CoolBet to give me a prop for over-under goals on this road trip for Kyle Connor. I've made a statement. He's getting at least 3 goals in the next 3 games. We're kicking it around on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Plus 150 for 1 tonight, plus 740 for 2, and 31 to 1 for 3. I'm not necessarily thinking that he'll go with the 3, but I think I'll definitely get on that goal prop and maybe a little smaller sprinkle on the plus 740 on 2. There's a lot of guys that are due right now. Connor's due to score. These teams are due for an over, and God knows Tom Brady's due for a good performance because it has been ugly for the Bucs the last few weeks.
That is going to do it for our Thursday nighter as far as the lock shop goes. We'll be back with our best bets on Friday morning, late morning, early afternoonish, just like our usual time. And of course, props and parlay Saturday coming your way on Saturday as well. Huss, I'll see you later this evening, my man.
Yes, you will.